What's up, Juventini? We have a ton to discuss today with the list of 6 players that have been informed they're out of the project at Juve coming out. And then we have a potential shock return in the cards for this Mercato. We'll take a look at that as well. And Soule, what will the decision be with Motta'S Soule? We've got the latest status update on the player there and all the other rumors around Juve. I'm Berto. This is the AJC, your channel locked in on Juve. It's July 11th. Let's rock with the news. First things first, João Cancelo and a potential return. Is it in the cards for Juve? Well, the latest reports, and there's a lot of smoke coming up around this one, that there have been multiple discussions between the player's agent Mendes and Giuntoli about this deal. Now, they add to the report stating that Motta, his desire is to add João Cancelo to his team, all right? Will Giuntoli be able to find a deal? Will something go down? We have to wait and see, but there's a lot of smoke picking up around this potential return. How do you feel about it? Let me know in the comments. Now, Rugani. Al-Shabaab is the team most interested in the player and are making a push. Now they are said to push even harder. As today, we're expected more rounds of discussions between the player's entourage and Al-Shabaab expected to increase the already at €6 million salary offer. They're going to increase that and make a push to try and lure the Italian defender. Now, Juve is set to see a small fee in that transfer, all right, but is Rugani on our list of 6 players that are on the outs at Juve? Yes, he is. These are the 6 players informed they're out of the project at Juve. Rugani, Arthur, McKennie, Milik, Kostic, and De Sciglio, all right? So with Rugani, we know Al-Shabaab is the most interested team. Arthur has several clubs interested, all right? If Giuntoli finds an outright deal, this would be a big success because the guys before him were unable to do so, all right? McKennie, the latest reports suggest he has accepted that he is out of the project at Juve. I bet you that Villa deal is looking pretty sweet right now. Yeah. I think he did himself a big disservice there, but it appears he has accepted the fact he is on the outs. Let's look for a move there. Milik has some club's interest. I'd say light interest in Milik there. For Kostic, well, he's been rumored to be put up in a potential exchange, and the exchange is with Roma, all right, as a counterpart. El Shaarawy is rumored to be favored as left-wing option as a support player, all right? So there is more heat around the name of El Shaarawy and Juve. And yes, Kostic was apparently proposed by Juve as a candidate for Roma. We have to see what happens, but more and more smoke around El Shaarawy and Juve's interest in the player, all right? Now, when we get to Soule's future and what is going to go down, well, what is the decision going to be had? First things first, there is a deal there with Leicester that can be had. Their first initial proposal didn't fall short by much. €30 million all in with bonuses, all right? Juve is said to really be considering anything around the 35 million mark, and of course they want higher, around 40, all right? But 35 could even do it. We're not far off with Leicester, so a deal could be had. The decision, according to all the reports today, will solely lie in the hands of Thiago Motta. What will he decide on Soule's future? If I had to take a guess right now, despite all the rumors of what we were hearing throughout the season and even leading up into this Mercato about him being very, very distant from Juve, I think the signs right now are pointing to us feeling a little bit more comfortable in moving Huijsen before we move Soule, because I feel it's looking pretty light up top. And I think Motta might want to use Soule, all right? So that's my gut take on it. What do you think? Do you agree with me or disagree? Will both of those players be moved? What do you think about Huijsen and Soule? Which one will stay? Hit me in the comments, all right? Now, as far as Tobo goes, well, with Tobo, he is keen on joining Juve, and all the reports suggest he wants the move to go down, and he is going to push for making the same move Khéphren Thuram just made, all right? But Juve is going to apparently has set up an initial proposal, which is a loan with an obligation to purchase, but nobody has reported on the fees. And all they keep reiterating is that one of 35 million euros was already rejected. Now they're saying that all the focus is going to be on sales to wrap up a couple of these moves. And like I reported yesterday, check out that video if you didn't, but Sancho apparently, according to a lot of the reports, is done as well, but Juve needs to get some sales done before finalizing. All right, so that's the latest. And then with some reports coming out of camp, they are suggesting that Motta will be using Danilo as a center back and Gatti as a right back. All right, now, number one, how would Tuttosport know this when those two players, neither of them are at camp yet and won't be at camp until the end of July, all right? However, Danilo, for me, I think he could be used in both those positions, but not as a main. I think we need to look at getting someone else there as the main options, all right? It's not going to be a starting lineup, but this is what Tuttosport is suggesting, that you're going to have Cambiaso, the left, Danilo, Bremer, and then Gatti. We still need to finish the Mercado, all right? Todibo, is he coming in? I would see him slotting in there. Giallo could potentially be a starter. He suits Motta to a T, but the early signs suggest that Motta is really intrigued by Federico Gatti, all right, and his offensive prowess could ramp up in Motta's game, and it does make sense, but Gatti has a lot of cleanup to do in his game, so it's going to be interesting what is going to go down, but you got to really pump the brakes with these outlets claiming they know what the setup is already going to be when a bunch of these guys aren't even there yet, all right? I know we're all hyped up and we're excited, but let's pump the brakes, all right? And again, today, good vibes continue, all right? We got Jean-Claire Todibo liking Kefren Thuram and Juve posts out there. He wants to come and join Juve, all right? As far as Motta and Giuntoli, they were out there today leaving the grounds just to greet all the fans that were supporting and chanting outside the gates, all right? So the vibes are really, really good. And the training sessions, well, in the photos, these guys look bagged. Keep in mind, Motta's training regimen is completely different than what we were accustomed to, and they are shorter but higher intensity training programs. One thing's for sure, Bologna, as far as the fitness and the physical side of things, always look good throughout the season, and their players at the Euros actually looked great in terms of conditioning and whatnot. It's something we should all have our eyes on based on what we've seen over the past few years, and it's an aspect of Motta that is going to be very intriguing for me, at least, all right? And that wraps up your news break. You guys know the drill, all right? Like the video, subscribe to the channel, join our AJC army, but hit me in the comments with what you think about all the news you just heard, and I'm back tomorrow, as always, with another edition. Till then, fino alla fine, forza Juventus, ciao tutti.